don't want to have to push anybody to get them started, especially if it's an automatic transmission. The Institute of Creation Research, Dr. Henry Morris, his book, on the flood and Genesis and that sort of thing, I found extremely valuable when I began to read and study about, things, the flood and all of this. Now, his Creation Science Research Center, they have collected many hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years to look for Noah's Ark, among other things. However, that's not all they do. They went out to Mount St. Helens after the explosion, and they have a video out on that is excellent. I would recommend that you get that and watch it. It is excellent. It shows that strata similar to that in the Grand Canyon and other places that is spoken of by evolutionary geologists as requiring millions of years to form. It shows that it happens in a matter of hours under the right circumstances. And of course, volcanic eruptions and floods and things of that nature is the right thing. All right? Now, there is a reluctance among us human beings to, shall we say, admit that somebody else found what we had been looking for. I don't know of any real nice way of saying this, but some of you here are old enough to remember polio, and that the March of Dimes raised millions of dollars to try to find a cure for polio. Now, my understanding is that the doctors that actually found Sabine and Salk, who found the vaccine for that, didn't have any money from that organization, but I don't know that personally, all right? However, it took years for the March of Dimes to find something that nobody was going to cure so they wouldn't get interrupted in their fundraising efforts again. And I think all of us are aware that when you give money to the United Fund and March of Dimes and all of that, maybe a nickel or a penny of each dollar gets to, the purpose that you're giving it for. The rest goes in the pockets of the organizational leaders, and that's tragic. So, but anyway, some of these people have collected stories about the flood, and they've shared them. Now, human nature is this. When our ears hear something coming out of our mouth, the ears don't question it. It gets stored away in your brain in the fact section. If it comes from somebody else's mouth, it gets stored away in the maybe section. All right? That's why somebody that tells the same lie over and over and over again come to believe it themselves. And so anyway, over the years there's been stories told about Hagopian, about, Ferdinand Navarro's story, others. And the Russian pilot that flew over and saw the Ark and sent 3,000 Russian engineers. Well, one of your, shall we say, residents of the beautiful state of California had a neighbor who was Polish by descent, and he was going to, this fellow, not the Polish fellow, but the other guy, was going to start up a magazine. And so he decided to write a story about Noah's Ark because, a lot of people are interested in Noah's Ark. And you still see that. I saw in National Enquirer a few years back that they had found Noah's Ark in Pennsylvania, And there was proof because there were skeletons of all of these animals in it. Well, bless their hearts, if the animals died on the Ark, we wouldn't have any today. But anyway, I'm sure a lot of people bought National Enquirer, to read about that. So anyway, he wrote this article up about the story about the Russian pilot, and it was all just fable. He made it up himself. And here in recent years, he has repented, and he has sent letters to ICR, to all of us ark hunting people, apologizing for having made up that story. Well, some of us don't repeat that story, but others do. They still tell that story knowing that it was a work of fiction. Now then, John, bless his heart, and please pray for him and me. We're all sinners. He enjoys raising large sums of money to go look for Noah's Ark. All right? That's the easy way of raising money for his outfit, and his outfit does good things. And I would like to see him raise money to help excavate this boat, to prove once and for all if he wants to take that approach. And I think people would give money for it just like they would to look for it, but I may be wrong. I'm not infallible. And there's occasions when I suspect the Pope might not be, especially when he says that evolution is a better explanation of how we got here than creation. So anyway, John said that I use very poor investigative techniques, all right? And, I use chemical analysis, radar, metal detectors, core drilling, and I don't know of anything else you can use, except excavation, and that's a little beyond my budget. But he made this statement. And so anyway, bless his heart. He just said, that Ron Wyatt was careless in his facts and things, and he may have believed that. I don't know. You can't read somebody else's mind. But here about 2 or 3 years ago, a fellow by the name of Selye, and another guy whose name I can't remember at the moment, but they're from Sun Classic Films out in Utah, and they made a movie on Noah's Ark back in the 70s, and I think it's over the since that time, they've gotten like $150 million in revenues for that film. So they decided, hey, let's get a new one up and running. So they called me and said, we would like to use your research in our movie on Noah's Ark. And I said, well, that shouldn't be a problem. I said, what do you have in mind? They said, well, we want to say you found it on top of Mount Ararat. And I said, well, sir, I didn't find it there. I found it somewhere else. Well, everybody thinks it's on Ararat, so, we just want to say it was found there. I said, well, very sorry. I'll let you use it for free if you'll say where it was really found. And so we didn't do any business. But anyway, they found some other people, and I met one poor geologist. They snookered him into saying something on there, and he told me, he said, if they hadn't lied to me, I'd have never said that, because they said all this had been proven and everything, and they just wanted me to make this statement because I was a qualified person, and it turns out that none of the stuff they had me say had been proven. So anyway, that's Hollywood or Utah in the movie business. So anyway, there was this actor in California here, and I think you all know there's a lot of actors. In Nashville, where I live, there's a lot of people who play guitars and all this sort of thing. They come to town hoping to hit it big, and they work in restaurants and wherever they can to get by until they get discovered, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with this. But this actor, Jamal, things were a little bit slow, and he decided that he would kind of take the bull by the horns and do a little something to generate some attention. So he went out and bought some of John Morris's books. Ben, thank you so much for coming, sir. God bless you. And again, I apologize for being less than polite when you said the new covenant last time, and you were right. Okay, thank you, sir. Anyway, that was a little private matter. I kind of jumped his case, I think, last trip. Didn't mean to, but sometimes I sound harsh when I don't intend to. My wife tells me this, so, and she's right.